Chase, you're from the Bronx, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're from the Bronx, the boogie down Bronx, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And Ross, you're from Jersey.
I'm from Jersey.
So you're a Jersey
The
boy.
burbs.
So now, how does a Jersey boy meet the Bronx, or the Bronx meet Jersey? How did that all take place?
I want to hear how he shared how he presents
This is my
the story.
version of the story.
We have two different versions.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
No, it's really funny. We'd actually known each other for a while through a summer camp that we had both attended, and so that's kind of how we first started meeting up. And at this camp, we'd be hanging out as counselors and whatever. And I was that guy that was always playing guitar and jamming out and stuff. And he was this like hip hop guy that everybody knew that would do these freestyles and stuff. And so in the cabins, we would have like a bunch of guys get together, and people was get in a circle and stuff, and we would just start jamming out. And so that's really how we first started to meet and talk. Eventually, I started, as my solo career started to take off, I actually produced my first album at the age of 15.
Wow.
And I produced my second at 17, my third at 19. This is the band's stuff. This is my fourth album. And as promoting that, I was going into New York City and playing in some of these different venues. And so I knew he was from the city, and we had so much fun back at the cabins and in this camp, out in the middle of the country doing this stuff. And I was like, hey, let me call him up. Yeah. So he started coming to my gigs, and then he just started writing raps, and he'd call me up and be like, yo, I wrote a rap for your song Hollywood, and I want you to hear it. And then I heard it, and I was like, whoa, like this is really good. I just had never seen things in this light, I was kind of thinking like, straight up rock and rock only, and he brought this really cool hip hop flavor. So
yeah, and I think that was cool for me too. And I think that's what really jump started the band, is like being at these camps, and you have about 300 kids from all different backgrounds. I mean, from from the Bronx to Harlem to places in Jersey, and being able to see that we were having just drawing these huge crowds at the camp that would just come around to hear this collaboration that we had going on. To me, it was like blow away, because I was like, man, I didn't, and I think it helped the kids who were there as well to see, man, look at these guys. Right. These guys are our counselors.
They're different,
and they're from different backgrounds. They're having a great time. They're having a lot of fun, and so it was almost like it had to happen. You know what I mean? We had to,
see, now the new album you guys need to do, the next one is called Retro at the Cabin.
Revisiting the
cabin. Jam back at the cabin.
Back to our origins.
Hey, tell me
an idea for an album cover.
Right.
Chase,
I'm telling you.
Chase, tell me a little bit about, actually both of you, I want to know about what you've learned from each other's cultures. Okay? Wow. Chase, your culture is very different than Ross's, right? Yours is, obviously African-American from the Bronx. Chase is, white Anglo-Saxon from Jersey. And as you collaborate on your musical endeavors together, I imagine that just being together and knowing each other as intimately as you guys do, and maybe being in each other's homes and knowing just a certain amount about each other's lives, what do you see? What have you learned? What are the differences? What are the similarities? Even in terms of the way you grew up.
Yeah, you can take it first.
I could go. I don't know. I feel like I've learned a lot from Chase. It's really cool. I feel like it's really
vice versa
helped me to expand my horizons and learn a lot of things. I think it's really shown me a lot about just, I guess I've learned something about kind of the African American flavor, and just kind of like, just what it means to kind of spice things up, and you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I think that sometimes my concerts before, things were kind of like static, and and then we add him in the mix and this kind of stuff, and it's a lot more like
Crazy.
just hands in the air, you know what I mean? I think that, I don't know, something I feel like I take from that culture, from where he comes from, I think is just this kind of like, it's a lot more improvisational, and it's just like, he kind of gets up and, even you see it in his freestyling and in a lot of these things, it's a lot more like, let's do the inspiration in the moment and do things, because he knows this, but I'm a little bit more like, okay, we got this song and this song and this song, and I like to plan things out, and he's a lot more like, oh, I got an idea for like a hype, and something I could do to get people excited, and it's really just shown me a lot about interaction with the crowd and the people, and just.
So he's
really,
a little more spontaneous than you are.
Yeah, he's definitely a little bit more spontaneous than I am.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, and what about you, Chase? What have you learned from Ross?
Man, a lot. Ross is the leader of our band, and he's doing a great job. And I think it's funny, Ross has an incredible connection to his family that I really appreciate. And his dad, who actually we call him Dr. End Result. He's kind of the mastermind behind the whole thing.
Oh yeah, he's the mad scientist.
Yeah, he also manages the band, and actually just really helps us out with all the day-to-day operations of the band, and just how connected they are, and just how involved he is. I mean, just how supportive he is of not just of his son, but the fact that that these are his son's bandmates and friends. And so, I mean, they have us over for dinner and they pull us in.
That's always nice, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, so I think that's what I've learned also, just to stop. Because living in the city, to be honest, things can get so hectic and things can get so crazy and so fast paced that sometimes you just don't stop to appreciate some of the beautiful things about life that can be overpassed when you're just at 100, going 100 miles an hour. So I really appreciate that, and I think it also comes across in his music and the lyrics that Ross writes. I mean, you just hear. I mean, it could be something about a relationship, and he kind of personifies a lake. He's looking at a lake, and he just turns it into a relationship. And I'm just like, man, I wouldn't have thought of a metaphor for a relationship having to do anything with the lake. And I think that that's really cool. I really appreciate that.
Wow. Well, Ross, tell us about growing up. Chase mentioned your father. Tell us a little bit about growing up with your dad. What kind of influence did he have on you? And when did you really start to connect?
Yeah. Oh, man. My dad just has had tremendous influence on me. I mean, he's in many ways my best friend. And I can't say if maybe there's a specific time where it's like, this is when I really connected with my dad. I think that I just always felt very close to my dad, always felt very loved by my dad. He's always been supportive of, things I want to do and ideas I have, and has always really just been a good listener, for me and my ideas. He's just, always been there for me and has really been a very, very close friend.
Did you always want to play music? I mean, were you initially inspired to play music through your dad, or?
I was. What's crazy is my dad actually, he actually plays guitar and sings, and he's pretty good. But he's a really smart guy. He has a PhD in environmental science. And I guess right now I'm doing kind of some of the things he wished maybe he could have done, but he had to get a job and kind of do some...
and run the straight and narrow path.
And support my family,
That's
right.
And
so he really, taught me a lot of lessons about responsibility and what that means and what it takes, to really do well in school, things like that. Yeah. But yeah, he taught me my first few guitar chords. He's a really great singer, really great guitar player. And he taught me, my first few things about music. But I always knew, from, being a little kid that I really wanted to do music. I just had always loved to sing. I was always that kid that was just singing all the time.
And
everybody knows one kid like
he was supporting you
that.
throughout the whole thing. He was trying to get you to maybe, take your music public. Did maybe early on to take music lessons? Was that the case? Or?
Yeah, they'd always supported me. What's funny though is they never really pressured me, which I think was is very interesting as I look back. Because I think sometimes, man, what if I'm in college now and I've been studying music and now I love taking piano lessons and things like that. But I was thinking about, well, when I was younger, would I have, would that have been good for me, or would I have been, rejected music altogether? And what's cool is that as much as my parents, both my mom and my dad, I really feel like they supported me in my love for music, they also really helped me in things like sports and academics and whatever else I love to do. And so they just really tried to let me, figure out what I love to do.
So if they were out of the picture, where do you think you'd be?
Oh,
that's tough. I don't think if they were out of the picture, I don't think I'd be anywhere. I can't see myself, everything I've done is a result of my parents and their hard work and just what they've instilled in me and trained me in my character and just who I am as a person. I don't think I would have accomplished anything with my personal music, with the band, with school. I'm about to graduate college and everything like that. I don't see myself having nearly the amount of success I've had without them.
Well, now here's the thing: you got parents listening to this, and they now want what do they call those? A clone of you. They're like, okay, can we go into the parenting factory and get a mail order?
Mail order teenagers.
All those things are like, really? Is he really telling the truth? No, we're not paying him any money. This is, just these are things out of his heart, which is a great thing.
Absolutely.
So because a lot of people don't have that, and they wish